Assalamu alaikum to all of my viewers. Peace be unto you. In a few minutes, the call for peace is starting. The people in this conversation is me, Madam President Octavia Obama, Bernie Sanders, Christine Young, um, Rad Jarrah, and Jenny Town. All right, so um, the live chat will begin in a few minutes, and it is a chat on a call for peace. All right. I wanted to know, and now I do know. In Russian, the way that you say peace is called mir. Okay, so mir. So best way to remember that is in Spanish. When you're saying look at something, it's mira. So just leave off the ah part, mid, and that's how you say peace in Russian. All right, so this is a global call for peace. You know how you say it in Islam, it's assalamu alaikum. Um, so, you know, it would be nice to learn how to say peace be unto you in almost every major language, but, we're not there yet. So, like I said, this call will be starting in a few minutes. Here you go, right here, so you can see the people on this call. So that is what it is. So bear with me a few moments as Bernie Sanders gets his things together to join us on this phone call. All right. See if we can get all their questions answered, because the main thing that I really want for Pennsylvania to unjoin the Union of States. That's what I want. DC never took the time out to join the Union of the United States of America. So therefore, that means that other states that have joined the Union can get out, right? So we can get out of the Union, all right? And I feel like that might be the best option, since states and their state politicians are clearly showing that they can't get along with us, you know? And if they can't get along with us based off of religion, then that has a lot to do with theology reform. So for some reason, other states can't get along with us, you know? And that's a terrible thing. So this call is a call for peace, global peace. Okay, so call start in a few more moments, and you'll see what they're talking about. About 2 more minutes. So let me get situated here, and as they get situated over there. I don't know how long this call is going to be. Not that long. All right. You know, one of the things that I've noticed from Pennsylvanians is that I go up to them and I can ask them, as their president, what can I do for them? And they don't have a whole lot to say. But African Americans, they have more to say than Caucasian Americans. Pennsylvanian slaves have never been freed, you know? So I have told, you know, I feel like this. If you're a Pennsylvanian or you're in any state and you haven't been freed yet, such as for like the Juneteenth celebration that they celebrate in the South, if you haven't been freed yet, or like when Barack Obama freed the Chicagoans or the Illinoisans when he freed them, I still feel like you should know what freedom means, what freedom entails, you know. Um, but I know there was a petition that said, why just free one state? Like, why not free all of the slaves from every single state? I signed that petition, and I agree with that cold-heartedly. I believe that all slaves from every single state can be freed, and if they can't, that's the reason why we should unjoin the Union.
Of us are gathered here today from more than 20 countries in what we believe is a global first, a massive multinational grassroots conversation about what we can do together across borders to stop a catastrophic war before it begins. We're gathering at a critical moment. Tensions between Russia and NATO allies have reached a new high following a global spiral of election tampering scandals, cover-ups in the Trump administration, international assassination attempts, and a renewed arms race between Russia and the West. The devastating war in Yemen is causing the worst humanitarian crisis on the planet today and escalating deep hostilities between the governments of Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the U.S. that could still explode into even broader conflict. And in Korea, months of terrifying escalation, personal insults, and threats of nuclear annihilation have suddenly given way to
a whole lot for arguing, but I'm an attorney, so sometimes
meeting announcement between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, a meeting full of possibility and peril.
Just kind of like
so on many fronts, it feels like the world is on the brink.
So,
we face many urgent questions, but perhaps none more important
let's listen to what they're saying.
How do we ensure that our collective fate is not decided solely by the fragile egos of power-drunk politicians, but by the wisdom and decency of the people of Korea, Yemen, Iran, Russia, the United States, and the world? We're gathered to ask these questions and search for answers together 15 years after the start of the Iraq War. The legacy of that disaster still haunts us all, and much of today's crisis
the legacy
feels eerily
of the Iraqi
similar.
war does not.
But a lot has changed in that time. We've looked hard at where we fell short, and we've learned.
And his predecessor.
We've grown.
And Patrick having a conversation with a young woman way back in the day named Octavia
and
Rose,
most importantly,
he knows
we
how
found
she
each
feels
other.
about the Iraqi war.
Because war and peace are never determined by one nation alone.
But when you
It
have,
took many
this is my
governments
thing, when he
using
stood
war
up and
to
said,
form the coalition of the willing 15 years ago.
ISIS will
And
not
it will
find a
take
safe haven,
all of us
I feel like the
choosing
Confederates
peace
won't
to
find
form
a
a
safe
new
haven
coalition
either.
today.
A
A coalition
just this
of
morning,
people
a Caucasian person called my man ignorant.
everywhere
That's one step
unwilling
away
to
from
sit
calling
idly
them a
by
nigger.
while the world
Really?
is once again dragged towards tragic
People don't
and
need to hear that
preventable
early in the
conflict.
morning because that makes
To help
people
us
want to
rise
fight.
to
You
this
can't
moment
go
together,
around
we
calling
are
people
very
ignorant
lucky to
when
have this
ignorance
esteemed
is something that can be cured and fixed.
panel of experts
So,
and leaders.
Honestly, though,
Jenny
y'all,
Town,
the Confederates
Christine
aren't the
Hahn,
only people
Raed Jarrar, and Senator
against.
Bernie Sanders. Our speakers are usually found briefing world leaders,
I've
global
stated
media,
before,
and
I
supporting
believe Donald
game-changing
Trump should
social
have came
movements.
out and his
They will
theme
offer
song
critical
should have been the
context,
Dukes of Hazzard,
analysis,
just
and
the
vision
good old boys,
to help us chart a path towards
So I'm like calling for peace because
peace.
this is really
We'll
my
hear from
country before it's
organizations in
any
the Open Network
Caucasians or
around the
anybody
world
else's.
and
It's my
spotlight the
country.
efforts of Move On members
This
in the
country
United
belongs to
States
me and my
to build
family.
an inescapable demand for
Exclusively.
diplomacy.
All
And
right?
finally, we'll share and discuss plans for an immediate action
My family's
that we
name
can
is
take
on our
together
U.S.
to help
Constitution.
further our
That'll
initiative
never
after this
change.
call.
Our U.S. Constitution will
Throughout
never
the hour,
change, y'all. And there's a reason for laws. So when you familiarize
please feel
yourself
free
with
to
the
ask
law,
questions by clicking on where it
you
says
know the law.
Ask a Question
Right?
at the bottom of the screen. You can also click there to see questions already posed by other participants and to vote.
He's saying you can log on to the cast
For the questions that
The
you
global
most
call
want
for
the
peace,
panelists to
and
address in the final
check
part
out
of
all
the
of the
call.
questions that was
You can also
proposed.
see and participate in an
politicians.
ongoing live chat on the right side of
All right.
your
So
screen.
if you want to
probably
join the call,
discovered that
please
already.
do.
You're very much invited
Please
to
do
use this
join the
chat
call.
to share your questions. Very deep partnership. I want to highlight 350,
But I think the best thing
WeMove.eu,
for Pennsylvania
Peace Action, and the
is to
Predictable Emergencies Coalition.
unjoin the Union
Move
of the
on.
United States. Therefore, our country won't be involved in all of the drama that
Win
the
Without
other states
War,
have going
the
on with
ACLU,
other countries.
Rethink
You
Media,
know?
and Credo Action. These groups have been working for months to help their millions of members across
That's
the
like
United
a
States
lot.
prepare
Just
for
trying to
whatever
get
national security
Caucasians
and
and
civil
Europeans to
liberties
stop calling my
emergencies
people
these uncertain
that
times
N-word
can
or
throw
that I-word. Ignorance is not
at us.
fun. Ignorance is
And
not
it's exactly
bliss,
that spirit
like
of
the Bible
readiness
says.
and
Ignorance
responsibility
is far from
that
bliss, y'all.
inspires our conversation
Don't
tonight.
nobody want to be with nobody who's ignorant.
So we're ready for our first speaker.
Unless, you know, they're the type
First
of
up will
person that
be
can fix
Christine
their
An.
ignorance.
Christine is a
Period,
lifelong
you know?
leading peace activist on the Korean
And I know
Peninsula,
that niggardly
refusing to
and
accept
ignorance
the
just
inevitability
happens
of
to be
conflict.
used a lot in
She
some
organized
religions,
and led a historic
which is why
delegation of women from many nations to cross the Korean
it's
DMZ,
a big
which,
problem.
as you know, is one of the
Mhm.
world's most highly militarized borders.
But
As international coordinator of
I had a
women
man come up to me once and tell me, he was like, Octavia,
across
you
the
are not a
DMZ,
nigger.
Christine
You are far
appears
from a
frequently
nigger.
in global
And I was
media
like,
and
yeah,
works
I
with
know,
grassroots
but he was an
activists in
African-American
Korea
man.
and internationally
You know,
who are
and that didn't
organizing
make
for
me want
peace.
to embrace him. I don't
She just
take
returned from the
kindly
United
to that word,
Nations,
even if
where
it
she was
comes from
engaging
somebody
global leaders
who
in
is my
support
own people. You know, ignorance
of
can
North
be
Korean
fixed.
diplomacy.
There's a people
Christine
who are
will share
willing to
insights for
learn.
what people everywhere, that's
So
all of
therefore,
us,
nobody will
can do to
ever
help.
call them ignorant.
Christine
or
An.
Thank you so much, Ben, and thank you to all the organizers of this call. It's my great honor to join Senator Sanders, Jenny, Raed, and all of you. I can't underscore enough the importance of this historic moment. And what happens in the coming weeks will very much determine whether war or peace prevails on the Korean Peninsula.
So
The meeting between Trump and Kim is unprecedented.
You know?
No standing U.S. president has ever met with a North
I
Korean
want
leader,
peace.
and we may never get this opportunity again. If both sides can't come
I'm out, or, you know.
to agreement, I fear what Trump himself has said, which is that if talks fail, it's time for phase 2, which is war. It's important to understand that we are not here at this moment because of Trump's maximum pressure campaign, which has only caused great suffering to the North Korean people, but rather South Korean President Moon's masterful diplomacy and commitment to a final resolution to the Korean War. Just 10 months ago, Moon Jae-in became president after an extraordinary people's movement that rose up to bring down the former president Park Geun-hye. Her ouster and Moon's election was a clear victory of people power, where over 16 million, 1 in every 3 South Koreans, took to the streets, and for 5 months they held candlelight vigils. President Moon ran on a platform to end corruption and to improve the inter-Korean peace relations, and he won in a landslide victory. And today he benefits from a 74% approval rating. That is extraordinary. So in his first major foreign policy speech, Moon offered North Korea a peace treaty if they agreed to denuclearize. But as tensions escalated between Washington and Pyongyang, Moon at once condemned North Korea for their nuclear missile tests.
And it's sad when
but he also sent a clear message to Donald Trump, quote, no one should be allowed to decide
as a soldier
on a military
in our army,
action on the Korean Peninsula without South
or hasn't served one day as a politician who's trying to get stuff done,
because in the opening days of a military conflict, 300,000 people would be killed. That's only if conventional weapons were used. And if nuclear weapons were used,
up to
25 million people would be impacted. So Moon, fearing a preemptive U.S. strike on North Korea, and then, of course, a counter-retaliation by North Korea on the 30,000 U.S. troops on 87 bases in South Korea. He quickly seized the opportunity that was afforded by the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, and he called for a truce. And Kim Jong-un, he reached back by sending hundreds of athletes and performers to the Olympics, including his sister, Kim Yo-jong, who's the first member of the Kim family dynasty to land on South Korean soil since their grandfather fought in the Korean War. So the world witnessed the transformative power of engagement in the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics, when the two Koreas marched together carrying a One Korea flag. Yet as the entire stadium and the entire world cheered on Korean unity, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe from Japan remained seated. It was a sober reminder to the Korean people about Japan's colonial occupation of Korea from 1910 to 1945, which then led to the tragic division of Korea by Cold War powers. Many people don't realize this, but in 1945, it was two State Department officials who literally tore a page from the National Geographic, and without consulting a single Korean, drew a line, but failed to mention that it had already been totally destroyed by indiscriminate U.S. bombing campaigns during the 1950 to 53.
Y'all remember, we are the United States.
When more bombs were dropped on North Korea than throughout all the Asia-Pacific theater in World War II.
This is North America. That's what I call it. I don't even call it the
mostly
United
Korean
States
civilians
no more,
were killed.
because people are
and 80%
not
of North
united.
Korean cities were
When our
flattened.
politicians have to
This
go
is why North
into
Korea has developed a
that
highly
room
defensive
and vote
mindset.
yay or
And its
nay
siege
or
mentality
right or
only
left,
heightens during the spring and
we
fall
are not a
when the U.S. and
united
South
people.
Korea conduct the
Okay?
world's largest military exercises,
When I have
involving
to sit down with my fellas, and I got 50 fellows
over
in front of
200,000
me, and
troops,
we have to
B-2
vote
bombers,
on
and
whether we want
decapitation
fish or
strikes.
chicken,
North
and
Korea
we
isn't
can't
just
come
looking
to a
at what
decision
happened to
because
Iraq
half want
or
fish,
Libya,
half
but
want
they look back
chicken.
at their own
We're not a
history.
united people. Do you
So what
understand what I'm
must be
saying?
pressed for in this
Until
historic
everybody
moment?
decides
Well,
or
according to James Laney, the former U.S. ambassador to South
accepts what
Korea,
is given
what
to
has
them
limited
on their
progress
plate.
between the U.S. and DPRK
You
is the
understand?
unresolved state of the Korean War.
All right, so
This
I'm
is a
going to
quote from
pause
him.
this till Bernie
A peace
comes
treaty
on,
would
because
provide a baseline for
the
relationships,
rest of these
eliminating
people
the question
I'm
of the other's
pretty much
legitimacy
uninterested in, but
and
I'm
its
going to pause
right
this
to
till Bernie
exist.
comes in.
The Korean War
Thank
was
you.
halted with